So there you go, Tokyo down there. There's the Tohoku Hokkaido Shinkansen and the Tokaido Shinkansen just making its way into Tokyo Station. It's one of my favorite places to come and do some train spotting here in the city of Tokyo. And that Hokkaido Shinkansen is sort of the focus of today's discussion. How you doing, everybody? I'm at the top of the Kite building here in Tokyo, and I thought I would take some time to talk about a news article that crossed past my desk that had to do with accommodations and taxes and costs going up here in Japan. Now, the exchange rate over the course of the last few weeks has been getting weaker for the yen and stronger for those that are in North America. So I don't think you're going to feel it too much, but these tax increases tax hikes don't go into effect until 2026 for the most part, and they're affecting Hokkaido, which made me kind of curious. So let me go over this really quickly with you and also show you what we did yesterday. Hokkaido to introduce a lodging tax up to 500 yen a night from 2026. This is going to hit some people from different areas of the world differently, right? The government of Hokkaido and Northern Ireland, popular with tourists, will introduce a lodging tax of up to 500 yen, $3 a night from 2026, joining a growing number of prefectures and municipalities around Japan using such revenues to improve infrastructure and transportation amid a tourist boom. With the 20 local governments in Hokkaido, including the prefectural capital Sapporo, preparing to implement their own accommodation taxes, lodgers at hotels and inns will face double taxation. What? According to the ordinance adopted by the Hokkaido Assembly in December, visitors to the island will be asked to pay 100 yen per night for a nightly room charge of less than 20,000 yen. That's like almost everybody, and then everybody else will get charged a little bit more based, and again, a lot of these places already have taxes. For room charges per 50,000 yen per night, that's not so many of us, they'll be required 500 yen. If you're paying $50,000 a night, you probably don't care too much about 500 yen more. Look at this accommodation in the Shimukapu region of Hokkaido. That looks like a place I want to stay as long as it's under 50,000 yen a night. The municipalities in Hokkaido, Sapporo request 200 yen a night for room charges of less than 50,000 yen and 500 yen. So this lays it out for you. Niseko has a flat rate of 2% per room charge. I think that makes a lot more sense, but you know, there are these gradual increments to the taxation in Japan, and this doesn't apply just to foreign tourists. I think this applies to domestic tourists as well, so they have to be mindful of the people who live here in Japan. As we see our friend, the Yamanote line, making its way in. It's always good to see Yamanote line filled with maybe more tourists than there are locals at this time of day, which is very interesting. So what we're seeing here is that Japan has a decreasing population, and in order to pay for the taxes, in particular in places like Hokkaido and more so out into the countryside, Hokkaido is blessed to have a lot of tourists coming in. A lot of them to Tokyo too. There's another round of tourists coming on the Nozomi Express from Kyoto right there into Tokyo. But the tourist industry, gradually, I think they're going to find ways to get some money off of it because the population is decreasing and Japan has amazing infrastructure. It's one of the reasons why people visit here. It's just so beautiful, safe, and it just runs really well in order to keep that going because they're not collecting as many tax dollars and they still need to make those renovations and pay for those workers. Tourists are going to have to pick up the slack a little bit. They don't live here and pay those taxes, but it seems to be shifting, and I see this more and more, where the taxes that they collect from tourists is now being put into improving the services for everybody, where for decades since tourism existed, it was the residents of places that were paying for most of it. Hawaii probably has this very similar issue because there's more tourists probably coming into some of the islands in Hawaii than there are actually residents. But I think Japan, though, looks like it's going in that direction. We don't have a population that is increasing. It's not going to be turning around anytime soon. So it's interesting to watch this process play out. Going along with this shrinking population, I saw this story as well that hit just today. A record number of Japan ramen eateries went bankrupt in 2024. A lot of you don't know about this. But, you know, ramen, of course, is beloved by everybody, including tourists coming into Japan. But so many of them went under because regular customers, Japanese, aren't going in anymore because when they raised the prices, the Japanese weren't getting income bumps from their own jobs to weren't paying the amount of money that they were asking for, even though it was just a couple of hundred yen more. So I was surprised by this. They have no choice but to raise the prices. A record number of them are going up, but because all the ingredients are going up for the meat, for the vegetables, for the things that are in the soup stock. But the ramen Japanese soup noodles typically combine meat and vegetables, as you can see here. Usually about 700 yen per bowl, which is really cheap. But a lot of places raise it up about 200 yen, and Japanese diners ended up not going in 2024, causing them to go into red, and a lot of the people that were small businesses going under. Stop going to Ippudo. Well, that's not fair to say. You can go to Ippudo, but maybe also consider going to another big, another ramen shop run by local businesses, because they certainly need to it. And they don't often have English menus, so I think that's something that they need to overcome. But I think that, some of the best ramen doesn't coming from those Michelin stars covered by all the YouTube creators, and all the tourists are going in there taking Instagram photos of the ramen places that are all chains that you could probably get in your own country nowadays. It's a small guy who's kind of feeling the pain here, and tourism is one thing that I think that they could take advantage of. But a lot of the Japanese business owners, they have less customers coming in naturally because of the declining population, but the foreign tourists that are coming to Japan, they don't have the guts to go into some of these places because it is kind of intimidating. I'll be honest with you, even for me, 950 yen up from 780 yen in 2021, this one shop, and they saw a decline in Japanese patrons. I couldn't hesitate in raising prices, otherwise we'd be in the red. But a lot of businesses don't want to. This is the thing that really I think you have to understand about Japan. Their reputation is more important than the money. They'll take the hit so that they can keep their customers, because they can't face them and say and apologize and say we had to raise the prices. I feel so bad, because everybody's feeling it, including that businessman who's not getting a raise, despite the fact that it's a really tough time in Japan. So we're feeling the crunch here, and for tourists here, a lot of you, especially in this community, want to they want to do their part to try to help, and I completely understand that. I don't even know what that really means. I think you're just coming to Japan is doing your part. But if you do come here, it's good to understand that local businesses, small businesses, are not doing so well in last year, and they're having a hard time, especially in the countryside, finding people to come to their areas. But more than that, they'll start a business and then they go, why aren't the tourists coming here? But then the local government's not doing a really good job of helping them with the tourism budgets. A lot of it goes to big agencies that go to places that do promotions that don't work. I'm not saying give the budget to me, but I'd love to help smaller areas, which is what we're going to be doing on this channel as we see another train pulling in here. Do you guys know what that train is? Speaking of which, my friend Matt Alt and I will be doing a video podcast about Tokyo and why this is a great travel hub. But what I loved about this collaboration with the city of Tokyo, Tokyo's Visitors and Convention Bureau, is that we talk about how Tokyo as a hub can help the surrounding countryside, the surrounding area, and things that you should do coming into Tokyo to get out of the city center, take advantage of it, in particular for people that are doing longer stays, a lot of stuff. So this is going to be dropping on 9 a.m. on the 15th on this channel. So make sure you subscribe and check this out. It's 20 minutes. We cut it down from 45 minutes, but it was I thought the 45 minutes would have been better, but I think this was really good in-depth discussion. Matt Alt's been here for over 20 years, as have I. So you're going to hear from two people in English talking about how to make your trip to Tokyo so much better. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking for your feedback as well. It's really windy. Another reason why I came up here, it was windy down there over where I usually am in front of the Marunouchi Tokyo Station building. Did you ever eat Ivan Ramen? They closed in 2015. Sounds familiar. I don't think I did. Could be. Podcast is going to be on this channel, Only in Japan Go. So make sure you guys check it out. In 2 days, it's going to be dropping in collaboration with the Tokyo. Maybe you've seen the signs before, the Tokyo Convention Bureau. I've been working with them for years. A great group of people. I love. It's always challenging, but it's great to work with the city to be able to do these kinds of productions, because it would have taken a lot of time and resources to do it just for me. Very appreciative of it. Thanks, guys. Yeah, yesterday, if you didn't see this episode, Leo and I, my son, who's almost turning 4 soon, we went to this ice festival. This is like right down the street from us. Check out this video. I put in chapter marks so you can skip ahead. You don't have to watch the whole 40 minutes. You can get right to the part where they're chanting and like they're rowing the boat or something to try to stay warm. It's a ritual that they've been doing now for 70 times. Look at the ice in this tub. And then they got to get in there and like man it up. But there are women in here and you can see them with the robes. And I love to see this. This is a new addition where women that are community members here in Chuo Ward can also participate. Leo was such a good kid, and you can see that he was really behaving well. So after this cold, it wasn't that cold, but after braving it out here, Leo and I went to I said, what do you want, Leo? It's on me. And he said, I want to get a mega massive rainbow cotton candy. So I want to say thank you, especially to Michael Sasano, who's always so kind, and Ramsey Silent, who was never here, and a lot of you, Aiken, and so many of you who give super chats. We took that, and I took him for his wish. I rode about 25 minutes to Odaiba on the other side of town. He said this is what he wanted, so he braved the cold too, and I got him this mega supersized cotton candy. You should have seen his eyes. This is like his dream come true. I said, what do you want? He's been talking about this for a long time. We saw this when we went to do the Gundam statue in front of the Odaiba thing. He's like, I want that. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think so. And then I said, I broke down and I said, you're so good. Let's go do this. It's 1,200 yen. You can get this at Odaiba. I think they got this in Harajuku too. But the one in Odaiba doesn't have any people inside there. Diver City. It's really easy to get it. You don't have to wait in line or anything, but it's quite popular. And I was surprised how little candy they actually used to make this puffed up thing. But cotton candy, I guess it's something that, when any kid sees it, they're like, look how much bigger this is than him. Look at his face. He's like, oh my God, dream come true. It's happened for me. Look at that. He's not going to forget this, I think. Now, it's not the healthiest thing in the world to give to a kid, but come on. And I ended up eating like a good part of this. That's how I know, like when it melted in my mouth, I'm like, there's not a lot of candy in this cotton candy. There's no way this would take him like 2 days to eat. But we pulled it apart and eventually we were able to get it. It's like a candy shield. That's right, Chris. It's a candy shield. I was gonna take him outside, but it was so windy, it would have just flew off into the sky. Seriously, so we had to eat it by the door, stay out of people's way. He'd been eating it for 5 minutes, and that's all the damage he did there. He wouldn't share it for a while, and then after a while he said, you know what, Daddy, you can take some. And the Zelda shield, that's right. And we ended up sharing it a little bit. But this is kind of a fun thing. I think 1,200 yen's a little much for this, but the smile was priceless. This was 800 yen last year. And look at the candy stuck to his nose. It's like, what? It's kind of funny. But hey, if you're gonna do the time, and mom was away, so Leo got a chance to, it was Leo and I had to cover this kind of Naked Man Festival, and he did a good job of hanging out with me, so he gets the prize, so to speak. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Leave me some questions. If you have any questions about travel to Japan, leave me in the comments below. I love that you do that, about your travel, your trips coming up, the cherry blossoms. There are some cherry blossom varieties that have started to bloom. There was one in Toyosu when we were riding our bicycle to Odaiba. The thing was blooming. I wish I had a picture of it. I don't. No, I don't have a picture of it. But I might go and take you there, but there are varieties of cherry blossoms that have already started. That's crazy. And I'll probably take you to a place in Shizuoka that is the first place to have a variety that blooms right now. The ume blossoms will be starting in about 3 weeks, maybe early this year. So around the middle of February. That's the hope that spring is almost gonna be here. So I'm really looking forward to that. But today the wind is so bad. Just riding here in front of Tokyo Station, this was making this really beautiful swirling kind of, you see that? It was a little bit better. It's hard to capture it on film. You just have to wait for it. But the wind is super strong today. And for everybody, the postcards went out today. That's why I'm in this area. This is the onsen hot spring. On the back is a QR code with the video of when I took this. I usually put it into that mailbox there, but I handed it to to the postman where he checks the stamp and everything. If you want one, you can still get one. Go to my Patreon, and I send these out every month. The collections that people have is pretty incredible to see. The QR code in the back will help remind you of the time that I went to this particular onsen bath in Fukushima with the waterfall and the snow falling. One of the most majestic sights and majestic experiences that you could have in this country. It takes place right here in the winter. So without any more news to add, we'll stop here looking at that beautiful Hokkaido Shinkansen that is waiting for everybody to board to take off to go up to Hokkaido, where you still don't have to pay the taxes. Don't worry, there's still accommodation taxes in Sapporo for the winter festival, the snow festival this year, but they're going to go up for next year, and or maybe in the summer. I'm not sure, but it's going to go up a little bit. But I'm guessing that it's going to keep rising, in particular if the yen stays weak and Japan's population does not grow. Then I guess that there's really little other choice, because they still have to continuously update the infrastructure here for the tourists so that they have nice places for everybody to want to come and visit this beautiful country. I know you guys do. And for many of you supporting Japan, yeah, if you're supporting me, you're kind of supporting Japan, because I'm going to be taking you this month on the main channel to a bunch of places that are well off of the beaten path. And that's going to be the theme for 2025. Take you to the popular places, and then we're going to skedaddle to the places that are not so popular, that no one has heard about. And I hope that this enhances your trip. Yeah, that was one, Javier, that was one thing in those in Los Angeles. I'm not sure. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm talking about Grant and Joey, and we've got maybe a few dozen Patreon supporters in Los Angeles region. I hope everybody's doing well. We're watching it all on the Japan news, on the wildfires. It's really crazy stuff there. I hope you're all doing well. If you want, you can send me a message. I sent the postcards out this month. I'm not sure if you even have a post box, but we're praying for you guys, making sure. A lot of addresses that say Los Angeles on there. Didn't see any of them that might be in the affected area, but I'm just not sure anymore. But we're, I know the country is really praying for you guys, and our family sure is. So it's a really tough time in California. Guys, stay safe. All right, there you go. If you're coming to Japan, leave me a comment below with your question, and I'll try to do some Q&As, and in particular get back to our Patreon supporters. I'm so thankful for the support there, because without you guys' support, I wouldn't be able to make some of the episodes that are coming up, because they're all like outside of the tourist centers. A lot of viewers don't typically go viral, so you don't make a lot of video on those, but maybe they will. Who knows? Thanks, guys. Mata ne. Stay warm too. It's cold up here. That's why I'm talking so fast.